In this video, I'm going to share how to craft the absolutely best agenda for startups founders. And while you may think you already know how to organize your time, your typical way of planning it isn't going to survive your new reality as a startup founder where you have a zillion things to do and everything seems important. So what makes a truly great founder schedule? What is it that the best founders out there know that you do not? And what have I learned after 3 years running my startup, 2 during which my agenda was pure chaos? Great founder schedule follows 3 simple rules, and this video will walk you through them all. Your first step is by far the most important, yet also the most overlooked. You may have a clear to-do list, but until you know that trick, you'll end up missing your targets again and again. The step 1 to an efficient founder's agenda is to understand you actually have 2 agendas. Paul Graham is an entrepreneur and author best known for co-founding the influential startup accelerator Y Combinator. Graham observed hundreds of startups and realized that there are 2 types of schedules: the maker and the manager schedules. Makers, like programmers or writers, need long uninterrupted blocks of times to create and concentrate deeply on their work. For them, even a single meeting in the middle of the day can break it. Managers operate on a schedule broken into hourly intervals, which are suited for meetings, emails, and administrative tasks. Having a fragmented calendar is what makes them work. The problem is that founders have to do both. While running your business on the one hand, you also have to execute. If you simply try to put next to each other your maker and your manager schedules, your life will become chaos. And this is exactly what happened to me. You may start your day writing code or an article and block the afternoon for, let's say, discovery calls, but your morning task got dragged and now it's halfway through the afternoon and you're not close to calling any customers, and you'll try to catch up at night. How do you escape that? If you're a founder and have a team, even a tiny one, you should prioritize your manager agenda first. Here's why. Assume you can either code 2 features in a day or get 100 marketing leads. If you work alone for 10 hours, you can choose one task, which is 2 features or 100 leads. Now, let's say you spend 5 hours to enable 2 team members, an engineer and a marketer. Even if they're less productive than you, they would already accomplish 1.5 feature and 80 leads a day. In 2 days, you would get 3 features and 160 leads, which is more than what you could get yourself. As a founder, your superpower is your leverage. Let's see how this impacts the founder's agenda. Let's take a look at my actual agenda. My company is remote, so I have a session on Monday to kick off the week and a demo on Friday afternoon to wrap it up. To enable individuals, I have one-on-ones and a team retro every 2 weeks. I'm co-driving product, so I attend product and design weekly meetings. Only keep the required managers meetings or you won't have room for execution. After that, time to schedule your maker's agenda. In a startup environment, your tasks often change. To avoid going crazy, deleting and recreating new time blockers, you can give them a generic name. Going back to my agenda, I have a 3-hour blocker every morning to do deep work and an hour in the afternoon to push some content out. These days, I'm mostly using these slots to write content and record videos. This is not the only thing changing, by the way. As a startup founder, your company changes all the time, and so does your agenda. Maybe new people join and you need more manager slots. Maybe you need to recruit and you should change your maker priorities to recruiting. For that, I suggest you pause at least every 3 months and ask yourself, what recurring meeting should I drop or should I add? If you look at my agenda in the past 2 years, it has significantly changed a few times. In year 1, I was executing only. In year 2, we built a team, so my manager schedule expanded. To maximize your maker slots, you can do 2 things. 1, focus on the highest priority task only. For that, you can use an Eisenhower matrix or shortlist your top 3 priorities each day. The second thing is to avoid multitasking, otherwise you'll get dragged into rabbit holes. At this point, your schedule starts to look nice, but if you stop with this agenda, your startup is going straight into the wall. You also need to schedule time for long-term strategic decisions. Executing short-term actions is great. Founders that can't execute and only fill slides are missing the mark. But to drive your company in the right direction, you need to take a moment to pause to make sure your company is heading right. In my agenda, I dedicate 3 slots for long-term thinking each week. The first one is a note-taking session of 2 hours without a laptop, where I'm trying to identify what is the main blocker that the company has right now. The second is a chat with my co-founder to talk about the upcoming priorities. And the third one is a weekly update on Sunday to reset the team. Once a month, I share an investor update that includes our metrics, our goal for next month, and recap our strategy. I cover what's broken, what we try to fix it, and what we'll try next. Because we're remote, once a quarter, we go on a retreat to discuss big chunky topics and connect even deeper. Your weekly schedule is filling up, but you still have a few empty slots and a never-ending to-do list. This is where it becomes tempting to keep filling your agenda. But experienced founders know that they shouldn't do that. Instead, they add buffer slots. Having some buffer is crucial to make sure you do not go crazy. Running a startup rarely goes as planned. Other important things will get on your plate every day, And to make sure you can react to them without stressing you out, you can use buffers. Buffers are slots in the day that are not planned. You can dedicate them to give some input on someone else's work, spend more time executing or finishing something up, complete personal duties, or simply take a break when you need it. Buffers will help you stay in control of your stress level and avoid tasks flowing into your free time and your private life. We're done with the first rule to have a great founder's agenda. This is a nice start, but managing your agenda this way only works if you're a robot, which you're not. And so we need to talk about your real asset, which is not your time, it's your energy. Hey there, real quick. So you're building a product? Let me show you how you can make people use it. Imagine you can figure out what people do in your product and use that information to improve it. In June.so, we have dozens of ready-made analyses to understand why users stick around. We also offer an AI chat so you can ask any specific product-related questions using plain English. For instance, Requestly, a Chrome extension to modify HTTP requests, is using June to triple the usage of their main feature. It's simple. They add June with one line of code, figure out who loved their feature, interview them, and fine-tune their product. If you're serious about building a product that people use and love, then check out June.so. I'm leaving a link below. Enjoy the rest of the video. Dr. Breus was the youngest diplomat of the American Board of Sleep Medicine. He wrote books that impacted millions of readers' lives. For Dr. Breus, individuals can be categorized into 4 distinct types: the dolphin, the lion, the bear, and the wolf, each representing a unique body clock. Dolphins are light sleepers. They often find it hard to fall asleep and waking up feeling unrefreshed. They're most productive in the morning. Lions wake up early with a burst of energy and tend to fade as the day goes on, making them most productive in the morning. Bears follow the sun rhythm, have a steady energy pattern, and are most productive before noon. Wolves are night owls, struggling to wake up early but finding their energy peak in the late afternoon and evening. The point that Dr. Breus' typology makes is that not every hour is worth the same for everyone. If you track your energy level for a week, you will be able to identify when you feel the most productive and when you feel the less energetic. Knowing that, you can go back to your agenda and update it. Going back to mine, I'm a bear, and that's why I keep my morning for the most important task of the day. But in the late afternoon, I tend to be brain dead, and this is why I keep a lot of buffers and my note-taking exercise at this moment of the day. Now you know how to mix your maker and your manager agendas, and you know how to refresh it based on your peaks of energy. But we haven't seen the third rule, and without knowing it, your entire schedule may well collapse. Cyril Parkinson was a British historian who studied public administration. Parkinson noted that within the civil service, regardless of the workload, the number of employees continued to increase each year. He observed that as the administrative staff grew, so did their workload, but not necessarily because there was more work to be done. The increase in staff was driven by a more complex approach to handling tasks. In startups, the same happens. With more people involved, there is a tendency for each participant to contribute, justify their role, and add layers of approval and revision. Without autonomy and time constraints, agendas are going to step into each other, and your agenda might derail. To avoid that, you can do 2 things. The first one is to only involve people that are needed. Don't call in meetings without a clear agenda, and default to async if possible. The second one is to put time estimate and deadline next to task or project. When you timebox something, you increase your chance to get it done within that time frame. We're at the finish line of our deep dive into mastering your founder schedule. Before we wrap it up, let's breeze through those key takeaways to make sure they're sticking. First up, we tackle the whole maker and manager schedule dilemma. As a founder, you've got to juggle 2 distinct roles, the creator and the overseer. Balancing this requires not just smart scheduling, but also leaning on your team. Delegate tasks to amplify your impact without stretching yourself too thin. Remember, it's about making your hours count by focusing where you need it most and empowering your team to make charge elsewhere. We then navigated the importance of syncing your workload with your natural energy peaks. Whether you're firing on all cylinders in the morning or hitting your stride in the evening, schedule your critical tasks for when you're at best. This isn't about filling every slot on your calendar. It's about optimizing those slots to enhance your productivity and your creativity. Lastly, we uncovered the insight of Parkinson's Law, the idea that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. This is a game changer. By setting strict deadlines and resisting the urge to overfill your schedule, you can avoid unnecessary bloat and maintain focus on what truly moves the needle for your startup. There you have it, a trio of strategies designed to steer you through the startup storm with a bit more grace and a lot less stress. If you found a gem in this guide, smash that like button and feel free to follow my channel or share your thoughts in the comment. Thank you for watching. Take care. See ya.